to talk a little bit about self-publishing today. This is a very basic kind of overview and guide if any of you guys decide in your future that you want to try self-publishing. What is so great about self-publishing? Well, this is something where you have complete control over your publishing journey. You have complete control over how you want your book to be published. So after you've actually written it, if you want to publish, if you want to decide, you have to decide how you want to publish it. And if you decide you want to self-publish it, there are some major advantages. So there's no gatekeepers. There's nobody telling you what you can or can't do, right? There's nobody telling you that your book is not good enough to be published. You can do whatever you want, okay? You get higher percentage of the profits. So that's a big, big benefit. You have more control over how your book is, your creativity, how it gets out there, who sees it. And then you have a wider outreach. You don't have to worry about which bookstores have your book or who's going to see it or whatever. You can literally just send it to whoever you want. How do you self-publish? This is a good question. I feel like self-publishing maybe seems pretty daunting to people because it's kind of like getting a book out there is kind of a big deal. How the crap did I do that? So first off is the easy-ish part, not really maybe, write a book. This is probably the part that you guys maybe like the best. Write a book. But once you've written a book, you need to edit it. You need to decide the quality of work that you want. So are you fine with just anybody reading, all right, this is like my third draft. I'm not going to get it professionally edited. I just want it out there for fun for people to read. That's fine. Or if you're like, hey, I want to really try and get money off of this. I really want to try and succeed and be a professional author on this. Then you probably want to pay some professional to edit your book for you. So you have to put a little bit money down. That's kind of the main thing about self-publishing is you probably have to invest some of your own money to get there. So editing is one of the things that you might have to do. Okay, then you have to choose a platform. How are you going to publish it? Are you going to do it online? Are you going to do Kindle Unlimited? Are you going to, try to find any of these other, just kind of like Apple or Google distribution sites? Or you can physically order printed copies, take them to bookstores, ask them to distribute books. You can do that. If you just want to do audiobooks, you could read your own audiobooks and do it on Audible or whatever you want to do. There are lots of options. You just kind of have to figure it out. But make sure you're doing your research. That's kind of another catch is you have to do all your research. You have to decide what you want. You have to decide what's available, what's not available, all that jazz. All right, once you've decided you need to format your book correctly, this is another thing that you could pay your editor to do for you. Or if you're just doing it online or something, people or those platforms might just do it for you. They might be like, all right, upload your book and we'll do all the formatting for you. So that can be nice too. And then you have to market your book, which again, this is you have to decide how much you want to invest in marketing your book. Okay, so choosing a platform. You can do multiple if you want. You don't have to pick one. You can do in print. You can do paperback. You can do hardcover. You could do ebooks. You could do audiobooks. You could turn it into a script and sell it to movie makers. I don't know. Do whatever you want. All right. So publishing in print, you'll need to edit and format, and then you'll need to find a place to print the books. You can literally just take it to Staples or one of those places that just prints things for you. Or we'll talk about some other options. There are websites where you can, order a bunch of copies. But then you need to decide how you're going to distribute those. Are you just going to sell them on your website and mail them out yourself? Are you going to take them to any bookstores and be like, hey, do you want to sell my book? And then you have to kind of make deals with them on how much of a cut they're going to take of the sale of your book and all of that stuff. Okay. Publishing online is probably easier, especially if you just use some of these, pre-made platforms like Amazon, Kindle, Apple, etc. There's tons of options out there for ebooks. You can even just do it yourself. Again, just sell it on your website. Just send people PDF copies of your book. You can do that. However, if you do use one of these sites like Amazon Kindle, whatever, they do take a cut of your book because they do like marketing and stuff for you. Here's an example. I honestly just discovered this when I was researching for this lesson. Barnes & Noble is just like has a really great options for both print and ebooks. Barnes & Noble Press, they have some nice little like pros and cons about using Barnes & Noble. Okay, really easy. You just hit create a book and then you choose if you want to print a copy of your book. And they have options for like you can print and distribute, or you can like print just for yourself. They've got like personal, you can just like print a copy for yourself, which now I know that that's a thing. I'm like for sure gonna go do that. I'm like, I want print copies of my books just for fun that haven't been published yet. Or you can pick ebook. So this is basically just what you get with the print book from Barnes & Noble. I just picked I just want this for myself. If you wanted to do the print and distribute one, you have to like sign up to be a bookseller and do more complicated stuff, but they'll like walk you through every step. So it's just like, okay, do you want paperback? What's your estimated word count? What's the page size you want? And then they have some categories, and then they give you the average cost per book. This is only going to cost you about $5 for a book. $5 for a book. I mean, booksellers, they like do all of this and then they charge people a lot more because, you know, they want to make money, and also they are doing marketing and distributing and everything. It might be more for a hardcover, probably more with like a dust jacket and stuff. But yeah, so that's like really nice and pretty simple. And then I'm sure you like, you know, go on to input like your cover art and stuff like that. Okay, and then ebook is also really easy. You just like upload a file of your book, and then they like set it up for you, and you can like go through and check the formatting and everything. And then they have like their ebook distribution site that it'll go on and everything like that. So anyway, pretty simple, and they walk you through it. Here's a different example. This is what I'm planning to use over the summer. I was hoping to have it done by now, but life gets busy. Kindle Vella. So this one is one where you just like submit chapter by chapter and people read chapter by chapter, kind of like a webtoon, webcomics, but like a book where like it comes out every week or whatever, and you read a new chapter. And this is literally the whole thing right here. You hit start a story, and then you add the title and the author name, a description. You can add like your cover image, and then like you will just like paste in every entry as you go. So that's pretty simple. Okay, I can't remember exactly how it works, but like it costs like a certain amount of money per chapter. Like it's pretty cheap, relatively. Like, you know, it'll probably add up to being about the general cost of a book. And then Amazon takes like 50%. So it like seems like a lot, but you only get 10% if you're publishing through a publishing house. So things considered, 50% is a lot better than 10%. But again, keep in mind, Kindle Vella, they do their own marketing, they do their own, you know, all of this stuff, boosting and everything like that. You have like 10 free episodes that you can read, and then you pay per chapter, basically. So yeah. So this is just like an option. Kindle Unlimited is another one that Amazon does, but that's like you get the whole book. And you actually get paid per page read. So if somebody doesn't read your whole book, you still get paid. I don't know. Good stuff. Okay, let's talk a little bit very briefly about copyright. This because like if you go through a publishing house, they take care of all of this for you. If you're self-publishing, you got to make sure that you do this, because there are book pirates out there. There are people who like buy an ebook and then they distribute it on their own and pay, and then people pay cheaper. They basically just stole your book, and the authors are the ones who get in trouble for it and all of this stuff. And it's so dumb and it's lame. Pirating is not a victimless crime. You guys don't get that joke. It's not a joke, it's real. But yeah, so one way to protect yourself is to make sure you have your copyright page at the beginning of everything that you publish. So this basically says, look, I have written this and I have copyrighted it. All of the rights are mine. If anybody, it's illegal to copy this, it's illegal to distribute this, whatever. And this is like just copy and paste, insert, the year of publication, the author name, the cover artist, or any illustrations, year of publication. This is really nice because you can literally just copy paste that and just like make sure it's at the beginning of your book. It's really easy, but it's like one of the kind of safeguards that you can do to make sure everybody knows it's illegal to copy this book because you have copyrighted it. Copyright issues are like reasons why people might prefer to use like a company to help them self-publish because they've got maybe a little bit more safeguards. Although I do know that Amazon has had a lot of problems with this and their authors are not happy. So do your research for sure. Be careful. If you're self-publishing, make sure that you're using safe platforms. Make sure you are reading the fine print of any platforms that you're using. If you don't understand what's happening, Google it to make sure you understand what all the legal jargon is and everything. Make sure you're following the rules because, I had an author friend who chose a title for their book and they didn't realize that somebody had already copyrighted that title and they got in trouble because they'd accidentally used somebody else's title. So make sure you're like checking everything before you're putting it out there. Here's just an example of the Kindle Direct Publishing terms and conditions. This is just the start of it. It's like 79. It's a long document. Nobody reads those, but you probably should. But also this is where all of the information is about like how much money, how much of a percentage you get, how much of a percentage they take. If you're ever allowed to like take your book and put it on different platforms as well, or if not. So yeah, if you're serious about self-publishing, you gotta sit yourself down and read the boring legal stuff. After all of that, you have to market your book. There are some places that, if you're doing it on Amazon or whatever, they'll do a lot of marketing for you, but you still want to make sure that you are promoting your own stuff. So this can be one of the downsides of self-publishing. You have to invest in your own marketing. You have to sacrifice your time and your money to like get the word out there and get marketing things. You can totally like pay somebody to do it for you. Social media sites are like kind of nice because you can like boost your posts. If you guys have ever seen that, I don't know if you have, but you could like boost your post. You like pay like X amount of dollars a day for them to like sponsor your post to other people. Promoting it. That's the word. Advertising it. Thanks. Those are good words. So yeah. So you will probably want to create content like pictures, different versions of your cover, have blurbs, little like pitches for people about your book, about you. You'll want to make a website. Either way, no matter how you're publishing, you should make a website. I would suggest making a social account specifically for as an author. So like have your personal account and then make like an author account. And then like connect with other authors and people. There's lots of like, I don't know how many of you use Twitter/X, but there's a big community on there that's like pin for pin, like you pin mine, I'll pin yours, you retweet mine, I'll retweet yours or whatever. I don't know what it's called nowadays, reposting. But yeah, connecting with other people is really helpful in marketing. Okay, and I'm going to post this on Google Classroom. I've linked just some general resources that I found. This is like a nice step-by-step guide for self-publishing and everything. This is like a guide on copywriting. These are just the publishing platforms that we talked about. But there are more. You can literally just Google how to self-publish my book, and there'll be like 20 million things that you can look through.